AMN Drive Time is sponsored by Aishin, your trusted and reliable source for aftermarket automotive components and technology. Visit aishinaftermarket.com for more information.
Grace, welcome to AMN Drive Time, sponsored by our good friends at Aishin.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here, and thank you for your support of Yang.
Glad to have you here. So Grace, for the benefit of our audience, you are the marketing and training director at Hovis Auto and Truck Supply, and you are also the chair of Yang.
I am.
Terrific. So Grace, you grew up in the family business, and we were just chatting. I think you went right into the business right after college, right? Tell us a bit about the family business and how it shaped you growing up.
Absolutely. So no place better to start than at the beginning. Hovis Auto and Truck Supply is an 18-location warehouse distributor out of Western Pennsylvania. We do automotive parts, heavy-duty truck parts, as well as paint, body, and equipment. On the automotive side, we're a federated group member. On the heavy-duty side, we are a Vipar heavy-duty member. And on the paint side, we're a distributor of both Axalta and Akzo Nobel coatings. The company started in 1952 with my grandfather, so we are a third-generation family business. It actually started with my grandfather buying cars out of his high school classroom. One of his buddies would come up, knock on the door. My grandfather would slip him a few bucks, and he would drive the car home at the end of the day with a license or without, we're not sure. Take it home, fix it up, and either resell it or scrap it for parts. So that started him into the auto wrecking side of the business, which is part of Hovis. And then when my father came in '69, he took it to new part sales, and that's kind of when Hovis was born. A few years later, he brought me and my brother into the business. Pretty much as soon as we could push a broom, he had us in the warehouse. We were following around employees. He'd give us a few bucks at the end of the day, and we were thrilled. He made me business cards when I think I was in like preschool, and I'd walk around trade shows with him and hand them out to the reps and tell them that I'd be working with them someday and I was going to be his boss.
Oh, nice.
The first part was true. The second part we have yet to see. And then from there, he kind of just funneled me and my brother throughout the business, working in different areas. I got to work on the paint counter mixing paint. I got to work in the warehouse, on the road with the salesman, sitting in really anywhere I could. And I think that shaped me in a variety of different ways. I think first off, from a very young age, he instilled a very strong work ethic in me. I don't think it's ever too early to start teaching that. I think some other things that I took developmentally from that is I had a deep respect for what my father did as well as what our employees do every day, and how they're the ones that got us from ground zero, which was just a man with a dream, to where we are today. And I think I have a deep sense of appreciation in that as well. And then lastly, I think it gave me a perspective that I didn't even realize till recently. But it kind of gave me a bird's eye view of, in the grand scheme of things and in our country, and how small business is the backbone of America, how we fit into that and how we're a part of that. And it gave me really a drive and something to live for.
And so your brother's in the business too?
He is.
And what does he do?
He, in true family business fashion, does a little bit of everything.
Got it.
He's a salesman. He oversees a few stores. He buys all our tool lines. And that list goes on.
And so if you're automotive heavy duty and paint, even split, more heavy duty than automotive at all?
There's definitely a split, but
hard to say.
It's hard to say.
Got it.
Yeah, we're pretty heavy into each of those three disciplines. So.
Got it. So we shared your title, Grace, but what are you doing day to day at the company, and who has inspired you the most as you started out your career?
That's a loaded question. No.
Your dad will be watching, so you want to have the right answer.
Yeah. He didn't pay me, I swear. So on the day-to-day, I am marketing and training director, so I run all of our marketing operations direct to customer regionally. I plan all of our customer relationship events, which is probably my favorite part. So I get to plan golf outings, shotgun shoots. I get to help plan our annual trade show, which is a pretty big deal for us. Give out race tickets and Penguins tickets, and one of my favorite events that we do is Get Dirty with Kenny, which is a federated auto parts program. And they bring in Kenny Schrader, and we take a bunch of our customers dirt track racing. In addition to that, I oversee our hands-on technical training facility, which was created in 2010. It's been an excellent resource for us, adding value for our customers, being able to bring them in locally so they don't have to send their techs away to get trained, they don't have to spend the money, but just giving them that facility in their backyard and bringing in manufacturer trainers has been a really great opportunity for us. So that's a little bit more about what I do. Who inspired me most professionally? I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention a couple people. So first off, I grew up going to Federated National meetings, and so two people that have always really inspired me are Sue Godshock and Larry Pavey.
They're two inspiring people.
They are two inspiring people.
They've both been guests on Drive Time.
Yes, and I'm thankful to know them and for what I've learned from them and their contributions to Yang, as well as just the ways that they have taught me since I don't even know if they know they taught me, but since I've been in the industry. There's also a number of employees that I work with that they have taught me since I was young, and so they inspire me daily. But first and foremost, and he did not pay me to say this, my dad's definitely the one that inspires me the most professionally. I'm fortunate to not only call him my boss, but also call him dad, and
Yep.
He's the same man both places, which I didn't know was possible. But he has the strongest work ethic of anyone I know. He actually, when he was back in college, when we only had 3 locations, he lived out of our Grove City location in his apartment upstairs, which was more like the rafters.
Oh my gosh.
So he could go to school, but come back and run the business in the evenings. And that work ethic hasn't changed. I saw it during COVID. He lived out of our warehouse, and he worked 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. every night to make sure, or 12 a.m. I guess, to make sure that things kept running and we could provide for our employees. So he inspires me in his work ethic and just the way he carries himself. He's humble. He's kind. He has a passion for his employees like nothing I've ever seen. He treats them like family. He treats them like he treats me. A little different, obviously, but he really cares about his people as well as his passion for the industry. And I've seen that through just the time he's given to different committees. He's on the Auto Care board right now, spending a lot of time there, as well as heavily involved in Federated and various different committees. So
That's terrific. So Grace, as we mentioned at the front end, you're currently the chair of Yang.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us how you got involved in the aftermarket outside of your day job, right? That's in addition to your day
Yes.
job, right? And what propelled you to take on a leadership role within the Auto Care Association?
Absolutely. So something else my dad taught me when I was young is if you're going to be a part of something, you got to go all out. And so I've kind of done that my whole life. And then after college, when I came in full time, I actually wasn't even out of school for a year in my position. And my father suggested to me that I join the Auto Care Education Committee. And I was like, they're not going to pick me. Like, I'm just a young gun. But they took a chance on me. And I got to rub elbows with some really great industry leaders and get involved in that way. Seeing as this industry is the place that I'm hoping I end my career, I would really like to give back to it in any way I can to ensure that it keeps moving forward. So I was excited to be on the education committee, and I always saw those Yang people in the corner everywhere I went, and I was like, wow, they're really cool. I'd like to be a part of that, but I was gonna wait. And then one of my coworkers encouraged me. He saw them, they won an award at Apex that year, and he leaned over and was like, hey, I want my grandkids to work for your company someday. Like, you need to get involved. Like, that's a great place to start. And I was like, you know what? You're right. So I applied, got on the council, and then being on the council, I just saw the value Yang could provide for people, and I got to help pilot the Yang Professional Series that first year. So from there, I was like, yeah, I wanna have a hand in this, and I wanna see the mark I can make. And so I'm going through the chairs now.
That's terrific. So Yang does a lot to elevate the under 40 professionals in our industry, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the programs you've been a part of with Yang, and how is your organization serving young professionals in the aftermarket?
Absolutely. So Yang has a whole host of programs. The easiest way to share with you this is to put it into our 3 pillars of Yang. And I like to call this what Yang can do for you. So Yang's 3 pillars are networking, professional development, and giving back. In terms of networking, we offer a variety of things. We host regional meetups, various locations, various trade shows. We partner with the University of the Aftermarket at Northwood, and so at all of their events, Yang has a meetup to help get the young people engaged. Different companies can host individual meetups. And then the biggest meetup we've actually had, the group was kind enough to sponsor, and that's at Apex. And we've had it the last couple years. So truly grateful to them for that opportunity, because we're better to network with your peers than at the largest industry showing.
Right.
So in terms of professional development, we have a variety of different programs as well. The first of which is the Yang Professional Series, which is something that I got to help pilot a couple years ago. I'm very passionate about, but it's a series of fireside chats. They're 30 to 40 minutes a piece, and we bring in prominent industry leaders to talk about different industry trends and topics. And the great part about that is it reaches our Yang membership base that might not get to be there in person. In addition to that, we also just kicked off our second mentorship program, which we see really as a feather in our cap. We've been trying to do that for many years, and last year we were able to successfully pilot it, which was fantastic, and came back this year with 13 mentors. So each mentor has their own subject matter assigned to their group. They pick it, and then they get 5 mentees to their group, and they meet at least 4 times a year quarterly. Some people meet more. So for example, that's something that I've had a really great experience with. My group met last year monthly.
Oh my gosh.
Our topic's entrepreneurship, and our mentor is Skip West from Maxa Innovations, a true entrepreneur himself. And it went so well that actually when we renewed the program this year, my group didn't change, because we've just come to truly enjoy each other, and that we found so much value in the conversations that we're able to have. In addition to those programs, we also have our leadership conference, which happens at AutoCare Connect every year. It's a 2 half-day conference with a networking event in the middle, which is really great. We have keynote speaker, workshop sessions, honest career conversations, which have come out to be really cool over the last couple years. And it's also just a really great event to get to meet other people your age in the industry. The last of our programs in terms of pillars is giving back, which is something that Yang finds really important, to not just give to our membership, but to also give back to the industry that's home to us. So the first way we did that this year was through our Yang fundraiser. So we give back to the Automotive Aftermarket Charitable Foundation through a t-shirt fundraiser, which has gone well, and we're continuing to carry on throughout the year. We also give 1 Yang member every year a scholarship to Leadership 2.0 at Northwood, which is a fantastic program. I've never been myself, but I've heard fantastic things. As well as giving out a handful of Next Step scholarships every year to our leadership conference. And that's kind of just, it's a scholarship to help them get there and also teach them the tips and tricks to get involved in the industry and within the Auto Care Association.
Well, that's terrific. I had no idea that was all that was going on there.
We have a handful of things going on.
Yeah, that's terrific. So, you know, I've been in this business my entire career, and I go to the trade show, and it looks like a bunch of people that sort of look like me, guys in their 60s, but there's a lot of younger people coming into the business, right? And we have a lot of those folks in our business here in Akron. From your perspective, what do you feel a young professional's attitude and skills and perspective of their own brings to a company in this industry?
Yeah, so I think, I mean, overall, the answer to that is a fresh perspective, and that's in multiple areas. I think it's always important to look back on where a company started and its history and how it came to be the way it is and why they do things the way they do them. And but I do think that a young, fresh perspective can come in and look at some of those things and say, okay, well, that works great, but why don't we try it this way?
Yeah.
I think another perspective our generation brings is a fresh look on technology. So,
for sure.
Yes, whether that be social media platform or a different tool, or the hot topic of today is AI, which, to be honest with you, I'm still looking to figure out for myself.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, I think that that's an edge that our generation has in terms of a fresh perspective.
You know, though I know in our business we're 104 years old, right? I'm 3rd generation.
Congratulations, that's amazing.
And you're 3rd generation,
yes.
right? So But our younger folks here just bring a lot of great skills and attitude and perspectives that we need. We'd be sunk without it. So it's great to have that new blood. So you got all the stuff going on. It seems like Yang's doing everything right. Do you have any kind of vision of what the future looks like beyond what it is now?
Yeah. So.
By the way, how long is the term as president?
It's up in July. It's a year term.
Okay. So you're about halfway through.
I'm halfway through. We turn chairs every year, but we also have a vice chair and a past chair position. So
got it.
I'll be staying on as past chair next year.
Got it.
And I got a great vice chair in the wings. So
okay.
Yang's gonna be just fine.
Okay.
But my vision going forward for Yang, at least for my term, is to just continue to exemplify those 3 pillars I talked about: networking, professional development, and giving back. And my goal word for this year was build, but not necessarily build out new programs, because Yang has had some rapid growth over the last few years.
Yep.
And my goal coming into this year was to really wrap my arms around those programs that we just added, as well as the ones that we had before, and really just work to perfect them and tweak them so that they can bring more value to our members. In terms of that, I also want to build our membership, because I think Yang is a 1,700 member strong group, which is fantastic, but there's so many more under 40s out there that we haven't reached yet. So that's part of the goal. And then with Yang is to build excitement.
Yep.
Because honestly, we work in the greatest industry, and I think a lot of people don't realize that. And so to bring people in and to build excitement, and to build excitement not just around Yang, but around the industry, and to retain that talent moving forward, I think is really crucial.
That's good vision.
Thank you.
So, Grace, great job.
Thank you.
The last thing we're going to do here is we're going to have what we call a lightning round.
Oh boy.
I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to give me a quick answer off the top of your head.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I think so.
All right. Well, we'll find out. Stick shift or automatic?
Automatic for me.
For your car repairs, are you a do-it-yourselfer or a do-it-for-me?
Do it for me. Got to support the customers.
All right. At what age did you ride your first horse?
How'd you know that?
We have our ways, Grace.
Honestly, I was probably like 4.
At what age did you start competing in horseback riding competitions?
12.
What's been your biggest achievement in a competition?
I was top 10 at the All-American Quarter Horse Congress.
So I need to know what that is. Our audience wants to know what that is.
I'm still amazed this went there. It's the largest single breed horse show in the United States.
And you came in top 10?
I came in top 10, and I was in a class with other youth, but my horse was only 3.
Okay.
So I was pretty proud of that.
What's the favorite national park you visited?
Capitol Reef National Park.
Where's Capitol Reef National Park?
It's in Utah, and there's
Okay.
5 national parks in Utah, and everybody thinks of Zion or Arches, but
Is Bryce in Utah?
Bryce
too?
is in Utah too,
Yeah.
and so is Canyonlands. But Capitol Reef is the one that it seems like nobody knows about, and so you go there and it's deserted and it's gorgeous.
Have you been to all the national parks?
Not in the United States.
Okay.
In Utah, yes.
Okay, got it. If you could have dinner with someone you admire, living or dead, who would it be?
Ooh, I think my grandma. She's passed, but she was like my biggest supporter growing up. She came to every one of my horse shows. It's my dad's mom, and everybody tells me I look like her. And she,
that's great.
I don't know, she was just quite a lady.
Last question, and I'm sure it's not what I have, but what song are you playing on repeat these days?
Wow, I actually have to think about that for a second. It's a Morgan Wallen song, but I would say More Than My Hometown.
Grace, great to have you on AMN Drive Time, sponsored by Aishan.
Thank you, Bill. We really appreciate it.
AMN Drive Time is sponsored by Aishan, your trusted and reliable source for aftermarket automotive components and technology. Visit aishanaftermarket.com for more information.